That's what you people are great at doing, is inversion. If you looked at the 2,000 years of Christian history, you would understand this, especially church history, going all the way back to the time of Christ and apostolic succession. People did, oh, well, you can, but the truth is that people get all of their ethics and goodness in this nation from biblical ethics and Christian ethics, not from Cenk Uygur thinks it's neat that a chick can do this. It's like, no, that's not part of our ethical standard there. That's not what it is. We don't have an ethical standard based around your version of the woke Bible. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
When you call a respected bishop a chick and satanic.
Respected by who?
It's funny that you don't see that you lose such a giant percentage of the country. And so, like, guys like this make it nearly impossible for a huge part of the country to ever vote for Republicans. Because if you vote for a Republican, you're going to get these ghouls and goblins. And they're going to say, oh, yeah, chicks shouldn't be on bishops, man. It's in...
Bro, that's not a Republican stance. That's a religious stance. So that's where Cenk got to get that together. And I remember, Leotard asked me, like, well, what did you read for yourself? And to be honest, when I read the Bible, it wasn't really too hard lining on it. I mean, of course, let's be real. Most religions are male supremacy. It's a male supremacy. Shout out religion. Because it does put us at the top, and women right there, you serve under us. That's what all religions mostly preach. Mostly, at least the Abrahamic ones, right? The Abrahamic religions preach that. So when y'all guys ask me about this stuff, I'm looking at the Abrahamic religions like, well, I mean, come on now. Are y'all women truly hurt and surprised about this? Did y'all not read these Bibles for yourselves? Did you read the Bible? As a feminist or as a woman who doesn't want to be subjugated by men, you'd be highly offended by what's in there. Any of the religious doctrine, you'd be highly offended. If you're a woman who doesn't want to be subjugated by a man or to be under a man, you'll just be offended.
Version, dude, it's satanic. You sound insane. You sound, to me, honestly, you sound like you belong in a mental asylum.
They didn't hard
line on call people satanic. What the hell does that even mean?
Always going to think.
I'm not Christian. I just read the book. So when I was reading it for the story enjoyment, for the enjoyment of the story. I'm gonna be real with you, and for the lessons in it. So when y'all ask me, oh, what did you read for yourself? And oh, well, what's your biblical stance? I don't have a biblical stance because I don't hold any religion over one another. I have no religious supremacy here. No religious bias. Sorry.
So woman, just because she's a woman, she's satanic in that role. See, that's exactly why.
And shout out, my man says, Gen 218, women should play a supportive role and a nurturing role. I grew up Jehovah's Witness. Most religions don't follow the Bible as it clearly points to. I mean, yeah. Now, if you go hard line on what my man Allen is saying, and you take that to the literal point, then yeah, you're right. I mean, a woman shouldn't have any leadership role. She only serve a supporting role. So what are we saying? What? Oh, a woman can't be a manager, but she could be assistant manager. Like, what are we saying here, guys? I would want to know where y'all really going with that.
I'm a populist, but I can't be populist, right? When guys like this
speaking truth.
Shout out my man Allen for the biblical knowledge.
Power's sake,
and drive hatred. Drive hatred. You're right. I am power.
Huge.
So keep going.
Remember how you said I'm massive, I'm huge, I have this massive audience. So I'm here saying, speaking truth to power. You should be all about that. You should be loving the fact that I'm telling you something now, which is true.
You're speaking gibberish to power.
It is.
Is Beelzebub in the room with us right now?
It is an inversion.
Is Beelzebub
I want to change
in the room with us?
I'm sorry. You hate Christianity? You hate Christian ethics, eh?
Time out. Let's move Christian ethics to another debate.
I don't hate Christianity.
I want to ask you about Nazis.
I hate your radical.
You sure sound like you do.
Chaps, I want to
That's not radical.
Chaps.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Trump is confusing Christian beliefs with conservative theology or conservative ideology. It's like, bro, Christian belief and conservative ideology do have a aligning. They do align. But it is not a conservative or just a Republican belief that women cannot be in leadership roles. This is a religious belief. So, bro, you can't be sitting here and calling him crazy, because you'd have to sit here and call every Jewish man crazy, every Muslim man crazy, and every Christian man crazy. And then you said 95% of the nation would disagree. Dog, I'd shorten that down to I'd say 80% of the nation would agree. Like I said, we're talking about the same nation that didn't allow a female president twice.
Time out. I want to calm the temperature by turning to Nazi salutes. Cenk, you said about Elon Musk. Let's take a look at what he did, just to remind everyone who may not have seen it.
This one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Now, Cenk, you said it was the most obvious Nazi salute you'd ever seen, which I think Hitler might be a bit surprised about. But you don't really believe
that, did you say?
Anybody saying that?
Yeah, but Cenk, just to be clear, you don't actually think he's a Nazi, do you? So how can you make a Nazi salute if you're not actually a Nazi, and in fact, absolutely hate everything they stand for? That's not a Nazi salute. It's a awkward thing that he did to say "my heart to you," that then gets deliberately misinterpreted as a Nazi salute by people.
I mean, that's just the most disingenuous thing to say. If you know who we're talking about Elon Musk, a man who many assume has like a touch of autism, maybe Asperger's. Like in general, he's just an awkward guy. Like I said, like you guys got to remember when they announced the collaboration or that he was joining MAGA, this man was jumping around on stage like a man child.
To be honest,
he's just an awkward guy.
So the left is making fun of people who with conditions.
Low key.
The left is making fun of those who are underprivileged, undervalued. The same people they said they champion, they're making fun of.
Purposely misinterpreting it. And like I said, it just goes, it just fits because he's been in the crosshairs for the past couple of weeks by Democrats and MAGA alike for the H-1B visa comments. So they seen that and they were just like, ooh, another reason to hate Elon.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Hey, man, at least none of the Republicans fell for it.
Who keep wanting to call everyone on the right a Nazi.
No. So Elon Musk is trolling. So this is a classic right-wing maneuver. It's to get attention. And he knows that if he does a Nazi salute, but he says, oh, but I touched my heart. And I can't believe they're calling me a Nazi. I'm the victim. The left wing is coming after me just because I did the most obvious Nazi salute of all time. Now, the left is angry at me because I'm not calling him a Nazi.
I don't know. The most obvious is wild. I mean, like an obvious one would have been like, yo, like, I ain't gonna lie, it'd been something about F every race, F all them, we're the superior. Boom, hit them with the boom on it. It's like he said to my, like, what was it? He said, my heart and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I said my heart,
tapped his chest.
I said my heart to you guys, and then it flew off like this when it should have flew off like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was just in the moment. I don't think it was anything intentional, and I think anybody trying to make it out to be something bigger than what it was is purposefully trying to take the man out of context.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. If you honestly thought Elon Musk like threw up a Nazi salute, bro. If you're really that guy who think Elon Musk threw up a Nazi salute, I ain't gonna lie, you are a bit slow. I mean,
you stupid.
Nah, facts. I think he's trolling. I think he's doing it for attention. And he does this plausible deniability. It's the oldest trick in the book coming from the right wing. In fact, when you get upset at the right wing, they usually go, he's just trolling, right? So that's what happened there. That wasn't subtle. And again, I have credibility here because when they accused so many people of doing this, I said no. When Laura Ingraham was at the RNC and she raised her arm and they're like, that's a Nazi salute. I'm like, that's not a Nazi salute. She just raised her arm. Everybody raises their arm. He did that so crisp, so sharp, exactly like the way that they did in the Third Reich. That's not an accident. He's a smart guy. He's doing it to get us to do this segment and for the inauguration to all be about Elon Musk. He's swallowing up all the attention.
I think that is the biggest load of cobblers I've ever heard in my life. But Andrew, over to you.
Yeah, so it is.
Okay.
So
oh my God! No! Don't criticize what is so freaking obvious. And what if he put a Nazi? He put a swastika on his forehead. You guys would be like, no! It does. It's not what it appears. It's not what it appears.
Calm down, Cenk. Calm down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again.
And make sure to like the video, guys. Go ahead and double tap that screen to like the video. Hit the 3 dots up there in the corner. And remember, send any question, comments, or jokes in the super chat. $2 and up. We're going to read it out loud and post it at the top. And all music requests and video requests are $10 and up now. Appreciate the support, guys.
I didn't interrupt you.
Andrea, go ahead.
By the way, it's great to have the old Cenk back, by the way, just for the record.
Yeah, I didn't interrupt you, Snake. Just calm down for a second. Let me respond
go
very
ahead,
quickly.
Andrea.
Okay, so we have tons of evidence that Elon Musk isn't a Nazi. Kanye West, I don't know if you remember this,
I didn't call him a Nazi.
He ran for political office when he released a swastika. It wasn't even a swastika. It's just something that looked like one. Musk banned him for it. Musk just went through and did a massive purge. He just went through and did a massive purge of all sorts of people who were considered Nazis or that the left had been calling Nazis on Twitter. It's a big thing right now. All the evidence points to the fact not only is he not a Nazi, but there's no good incentive for him to even do this. What's the incentive? You say, well, it's a dog whistle. He's trolling. He's just funning this and that. No, this is very common, by the way, for people to make this hand gesture. I have it from AOC. I have it from Clinton. I have it from Germany. All of these various people.
In the 1930s.
And the thing is yeah, I have it from all of the Democrats. Cenk. You can draw side-by-side comparisons. People have been showing you them nonstop. You just don't care. You don't care because you want it to be some trolling Nazi thing when it clearly isn't.
Then why did I defend all the other right-wingers when they raised their arms like that? Then why did I defend all the other right-wingers when they raised their arms like that?
Because the same reason you defend
was like,
that
was the clearest Nazi salute. And by the way, I literally said, even if he put a swastika on his head, you guys would find an excuse for it. And then, hold on, and then you said about Kanye, when he put a swastika on his head, it wasn't really a Nazi symbol. I mean, you proved my point over and over again. So it's a delight debating.
I didn't say it wasn't a Nazi symbol. I said a swastika. I said it wasn't an actual swastika, but it looked enough like one. That he banned
okay, so
I didn't say
there you go again. I mean, it's a swastika, but not really, because so. Look, even the
symbols actually look like actual symbols because they're actual symbols.
It's an absolute Nazi salute. Yeah. So look, guys.
No, he didn't say that. You just made it up
against a ghost.
Cenk, as he did it,
make a Nazi.
As he did it, Cenk, he literally says, "From my heart to you," or whatever the words were. Right?
Yeah.
He literally tells you what he's doing.
Yeah, that's
from my heart to
deniability. Of course.
Nobody actually believes. Hang on, Cenk. Hang on.
That's what makes him sound so crazy. It's like, of course, it's about deniability. What you mean? It's like you're trying too hard to sell this. You're trying too hard to sell the Nazi salute. I'm sorry. You're trying too hard. Y'all honestly shouldn't even have said nothing about it and let it fly. But the fact that you're trying to sell this so hard as him saying, oh, he did a Nazi salute, is so obvious. It's like, bro, no, it's not. The fact that you're trying to tell people it's obvious when it's not is making y'all look even crazier.
Sophisticated media person. Do you really think he would have said, this is for the Third Reich? No, of course he's going to have.
He would if he was a Nazi.
And make up an excuse. You know that.
If he was a Nazi, he'd say, Heil Hitler. This is for you, the Third Reich. My love to you. Yes, because he would be an actual Nazi. Instead, he's a guy who literally a few months ago went to Jerusalem. He went to Jerusalem. He went to the and then he went down to the kibbutz.
Number one, you're fighting a ghost. I didn't say he was a Nazi.
He literally went.
I didn't say he was a Nazi. You keep going back to he's not a Nazi. I'm saying he's doing it for attention, and you know that, Piers. As a guy who loves attention,
it's not true.
You know he's doing it for the attention.
I don't know that.
So stop making an argument, debating an argument that I didn't even make.
There is absolutely no way in the world Elon Musk deliberately did that to get attention as a Nazi sympathizer. The whole idea of that is fanciful, delusional, and deliberately,
not as a Nazi sympathizer, Piers, as a person who goes, me, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's trolling. Do you not understand the concept of trolling?
I do.
So you do outrageous things with plausible deniability so that you could then come and go, oh my God, I got all the attention, plus I'm the victim because they're misinterpreting me.
Yeah, because when you're celebrating,
you're having a nonsense debate about whether he's a Nazi.
Just to be clear,
I'm telling you that he did it for attention.
I hear you, but just to be clear, you really think that what he thought would be a good move as he's celebrating Donald Trump's historic second presidency starting, that what Donald Trump would want on the front pages the next day was not a picture of him as the new president, but a picture of Elon Musk doing what you say was a Nazi salute. You think he literally gamed that deliberately to troll people. What part of your brain thinks that is even feasible from a guy who literally lands space rockets in cradles? He's got one of the biggest brains in the world. He was not deliberately trolling people as if he's a Nazi. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, Piers, let me ask you a question back. If you were giving a speech in the inauguration or in the parliament or anywhere, and somebody told you, hey, go say from my heart and do this exact thing where you even almost snap your boots. You know, he just snapped that salute, right?
He won't do it again.
Would you really do it? And I want you to do it right now.
I told him,
if you say you would do it.
I told him, I didn't tell him, but I tweeted, and 10 million people have viewed my post on X, so he'll have seen it. I just said, it was very ill-advised of him to do that move. Absolutely.
There you go. So
very
you think it did look like a Nazi salute?
Anyone who genuinely believes he was doing it to replicate a Nazi salute is talking complete bullshit. Andrew.
Yeah, and to just respond.
No,
very
but
briefly,
Piers,
I want to bring Andrew in now. Let me bring Andrew in.
If it didn't look like a Nazi salute, why was it ill-advised? If it didn't look like a Nazi salute, why was it ill-advised?
Andrew, he was ill-advised to do it, and I'm sure he'll now realize that.
Yo, we got 300 y'all in here, man. Do us a favor and double tap that screen, like the video. Let's get more people in on the conversation. Also, hit those 3 dots up there in the corner. And any question, comments, or jokes you want to send in and read out loud, and we'll also post to the top of the chat. Just send $2 and up. We'll go ahead and get that done for you. Let's go.
It was an ill-advised act.
Okay, good.
So here's the thing too. This is something that's off the cuff. Cenk's entire argument here is it's trolling. Believe me. That's it.
Yeah.
No evidence, no anything.
None.
All evidence to the contrary.
You don't have evidence
doesn't even
either.
claim he's a.
You don't know
doesn't
what's
even
in
claim
his
he's a
head.
Nazi. It's not my claim. You, the claimer. You bring the evidence. You, the claimer, bring the evidence. Oh, it was trolling. I have no evidence.
The
Believe
evidence
me, though.
is in the
Great
video
argument.
where he does a sick Heil
Oh, that's
salute,
the evidence.
and you're saying
didn't do
no.
it.
I do hate that childish like tactic. It's like you're telling me something like, all right, you're the contrary here. I'm like, all right, prove your contrary. Oh, you don't have the answer either. I'm like, no, bro, you're the one telling me I'm wrong. You're basically trying to put it back on me to tell you why I'm wrong.
Yeah, prove the point that you're trying to say that I'm wrong about.
Yeah, instead of trying to put it back on me, but well, how don't you know that you're wrong? I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, you're letting the argument off too easy. You're trying to reverse psychology me, and it's not even working for you.
Now it's actually his mind.
Now it's a seek Heil.
You read his mind, and he meant really well by it.
You are
You're
the one claiming you read his mind. You're the one claiming you read his mind, and it's a troll, bro.
I'm telling you what we all saw with our own eyes and ears. In fact, Piers admits that it looks like a Nazi salute. Piers is on my side on that.
No,
You're
I
saying,
said it was
even
an
though it looks like a
ill-advised.
Nazi salute,
No.
I read his mind,
Let me be
and
clear.
he meant nothing but warm.
Let me be clear. It was an ill-advised. It was an ill-advised.
No evidence.
Movement of his arm because obviously the kickback has shown that. However,
great argument. Great argument, by the way.
He did not say, as you're saying,
Cenk,
he did not say Sieg Heil because that would have made him a Nazi saluting Adolf Hitler. He said, "From my heart to you." Rather less, I would say, contentious than Sieg Heil, which is what you want people to think he was doing.
That salute.
All
Okay,
right,
Piers, let me ask you one more question.
Let's change subject.
If Elon thought, oh my God, that's so ill-advised, I feel so bad about that. If somebody was saying that I did something Nazi, I said, well, my God, I feel bad about that if it was ill-advised. Why wouldn't he just say, oh, of course I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry.
You know what?
If people
Here's the proof,
way. But he never does that.
What does he need to apologize for? He didn't do anything wrong.
If Elon Musk does it again.
But Piers thinks he did something wrong.
No, Cenk, if he does it again in public that way, then he will be trolling people. Because now he knows how it looks.
Okay, deal.
And I don't believe he meant that in a million years. The last thing Elon Musk, having literally been to the kibbutz where Jewish people were massacred on October the 7th, literally a few months ago, the idea that he would now want people to think he's a Nazi
being pressured
is ridiculous. Anyway, I want to change the subject quickly. We're running out of time. Andrew, many people are saying that what Elon Musk and Trump and
it's crazy when the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL came out and defended this man, Elon. That's what was so funny about it. I'm like, bro, y'all trying to call this man a Nazi, and the Jews are not even calling him a Nazi. Like, yeah, like, come on now, where y'all going with this?
RFK, Joe Rogan, all these guys, that there's a kind of new broligarchy that is ruling America. And that's why so many young men in particular, black, white, Muslim, Jew, whatever, all came out and voted for Trump in bigger numbers. Do you feel is it a real thing, the broligarchy?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. I mean, to put it bluntly, yes, men like things which are masculine, and they're moving back towards masculinity from the social ineptness of the left, saying, oh no, all these feminine virtues are great. Men are not happy with that. They're not thrilled about it one bit. Absolutely. I would say that there's a ton of people now who are saying, look, we need to have some type of common sense. We can't have trans kids running around. We can't have this stuff in our schools. We can't have these indoctrination programs everywhere. So it's trying to yield back to common sense. Remember what Trump said in the inauguration. He says, now it is time to go back to common sense. He said that. He also said it's Liberation Day because we're going back to common sense. So yes, I wouldn't say it's an oligarchy or a oligarchy, right? I would just say it's a whole bunch of like-minded men who are all saying no at the same time. There's not only nothing wrong with that, but it's been needed for a long time.
Yeah, and Cenk, I agree. I do think that men, for a number of years now, since the Me Too and Time's Up movements, quite rightly held a lot of predatory men to proper account. No problem with that whatsoever. But the pendulum swung so far the other way that every man started feeling like they were predatory until they could prove otherwise. And a lot of young men in particular gravitated to people like Andrew Tate and these kind of more contentious characters because they were crying out for someone to tell them what they should be like as a man. And what it feels to me now is, as Andrew has said, is that you're getting a return perhaps of the pendulum to a place where it's okay to be masculine. It's okay to slightly beat your chest and say, I'm proud to be a man. And I think it is. I think that's been long overdue.
I mean, let's be real, man. It was like, what, the 2020? You know what? I like to say the rise of the red pill. Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit in them. You know, the rise of the red pill, bro. It came out because there was such an attack on masculinity.
Yeah, at the time there was like
there was so much of an attack on masculinity that guys didn't even know how to deal with women no more.
Yep, and they turned to the internet for figures like the names you just said. Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit. These people made massive platforms just because of that exact reason.
Yes. So there was such a low amount of masculinity that guys ain't even know how to mess with women. Like, come on. And like, you kind of see where we're going, bro. Guys were getting shamed out of their, for lack of a better word, badman tendencies.
Badman.
Or playboy tendencies. Getting talked out of it. When in low-key might be the best thing they need to do. Because, boy, it ain't manly letting a woman walk all over you.
Take orders.
Have that pendulum come back to where not all masculinity is toxic.
On this one, I completely agree with you, Pierce. I think the pendulum swings all the time, and every time it swings, I'm against it when it gets to the extremes, and I get hit by both sides. But yeah, I think that people went too far. Every form of masculinity was being called toxic masculinity, but that's not right. There's things that are masculine that are perfectly great. And, you know, I've said this on many shows. It's kind of a hilarious thing to say, but I'm proud of being a man. I love being a man. And so if we are really progressive and we're on the left, we have to be accepting of everyone and exactly as they are. So if someone's very feminine, great. Someone's very masculine, great. So they're somewhere in the middle. They viewed masculinity and femininity differently, great, no problem. We believe in freedom. We believe in these principles. So I think the pendulum did swing too far. This is definitely the country reacting back. But I do want to say one thing. That term you use is kind of a misnomer because it takes the bros and combines them with the oligarchs. And the oligarchs are different. Like Elon Musk might be a bro, but he's way more of an oligarch. Like the Rogans and the Portnoys are more of the classic bros. And I have a lot in common with those guys. I also have tons of disagreements with those guys. That's normal. But I'm just warning everyone, populist right, populist left, beware of the donor class. And I'm not dead set against Elon or anyone else. As you know, Piers, if he wants to cut the Pentagon.
I think, you know, it's crazy because part of the whole MAGA movement is one going against the donor class. And I'm not even saying I'm hardline MAGA, but I think almost anybody can agree that, yeah, there's a donor class in here that swayed our politicians to go against the public's interest, the American people's interest. And that needs to be stopped. I mean, both sides can agree on that. And I really be wondering what Cenk's stance is on that, like by trying to make it seem like it's a left-leaning thing.
It's not necessarily part of a party-affiliated thing. It's just something that happens in American politics.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's actually something that's ran rampant in the past few administrations, in the past few elections. Something that's been ever more noticeable.
I'll help him cut the Pentagon. He control all he likes. I don't care as long as we get to the right policy and the right things for the American people. But be careful, guys. The donor class has a lot of power, and they want things for their own benefit and not necessarily for the average
I don't disagree
with
you.
You know, I gotta give some ground here. Where ground is due. You are correct about that. They should be disassociated between the two. Joe Rogan's not like Elon Musk. But I think when Pierce is referencing a broligarchy, it's tongue in cheek to say, hey, a lot of these guys are working kind of hand in hand in tandem in order to move a political agenda. And I don't even think any of us would disagree with that. But yes, I agree with you. There are actual oligarchs in the United States. There is a techno meritocratic class, which is coming to fruition. Nobody's disputing that. It's how we handle it that matters.
Yeah, and it was quite funny, Andrew, because my team had prepared some of your supposedly controversial, inflammatory quotes about women. And I've just read them, and I'm thinking, I think in the Brave New World, I don't find them that controversial. So I'm just going to read one.
I was a very controversial
one is the only reason femoids hate my wife is because I tell her to get me a beer and she does. That's the kind of thing I say to my wife and she likes.
I mean, let's be real. Like, to go make me a sandwich or go fetch me dinner. It's kind of crazy how, like I said, it's like women who don't want to be subjugated to a man. They just hate it.
Now, mind you, those
are the prevalent voice, I guess, in the 2014s and up.
Now, mind you, those terms are said to be overly misogynistic. They're meant to be almost tongue-in-cheek, kind of like funny kind of terms.
Yeah.
But
all I'm gonna say is that, hey, women went from saying "be his piece" to saying, "Oh, he need to find his own piece." I'm like, damn. When it got like that, and women started getting mad, oh, you wonder why we're not trying to be providers no more. I mean, look, women can't take out the femininity and expect masculinity, and men can't take out the masculinity and expect femininity.
Very true.
Once she's made my dinner, and then you say women.
And by the way,
find beds to be.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Doesn't the beer taste better when your wife brings it to you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then you said this, and Cenk, I'm interested in whether you agree with this or not. Women find beds to be a centerpiece of decoration. Men find beds to be tools for sleeping. It serves no purpose. I mean, I agree. Cenk?
Beds. He said beds, Cenk. So like men, when we look at beds, we look at them as tools for sleeping in. Women actually look at them as decorations.
He's right.
As well.
Cenk?
Yeah.
Good point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's some truth to that. Of course, not all women are the same. Not all men are the same. But my mom would do curtains that didn't cover the windows at all because they looked great.
So here's my point, Cenk. Here's my point.
Exactly.
You know what's interesting? Here's my point. We've reached a point where Andrew Wilson's deeply inflammatory, controversial quotes about women can actually now be laughed at in the tone that I believe they were originally expressed, which is, you know what?
Of course.
It's just a bit of fun. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Women and men can tell little lighthearted jokes about each other, playing up all kinds of stereotypes, and it doesn't matter. People don't need to be shamed
all the time.
Like, bro, if I could go tell my girl, go make me a sandwich, go make me dinner, she could turn around and be like, yeah, and go pay my car note. But we can make jokes like that.
There's always a responsibility of performance in relationships, and I think that it's worth being noted rather than being ignored. I think that's part of the issue when people say, like, oh, well, there's this burden of masculine performance or burden of feminine performance. Like, it's always been there. It's always been there. It's only in 2025 we're over here acting like it's a problem.
Cancelled, vilified, fired from their jobs. We can actually have fun, and then we can actually, by doing that, isolate the people who really deserve to be isolated, who are despicable pieces of work. So anyway, look, we've reached at the end a point of agreement, which is breathtaking to me. And Cenk, it goes well with your line about my theory is we might be able to get more done if we put aside the mutual hatred. I'm glad we saw a bit of the old volcanic Cenk rear its head today. Good to see that hasn't gone away, but also good to see.
Can't wait to do it again.
But also good to see we reached a point of agreement at the end, chaps. And I would love to do it again. Actually, really interesting debate. Thank you both.
It really was. This was a fire debate. I ain't even gonna lie. Andrew Wilson and Cenk, they had to come together for that one. That was definitely a good one. But let's go ahead and finish off this one. And I think they were starting off on why don't we pardon the BLM protesters who attacked the cops? I know, it's like we all forgot about them. Like, ain't that wild? So BLM protesters attack the cops, but we don't bring that up. I wonder why.
Forward to misdemeanors. They basically don't put violent criminals in jail in Joe Biden's administration unless you were involved in the January 6th riots. So they weren't treated equally under justice. This was a political prosecution.
People that stab cops and tase cops and bear mace cops in D.C. get misdemeanors. I would like to see the evidence of that. I just don't understand. If you're so cool with this, if you're just like, whatever, it's no big deal, let's wipe the slate clean. Why don't we wipe the slate clean and let out all of the BLM rioters who attacked cops too? Let everybody out. It was unfair. It was politicized.
I don't think hardly any of them were actually put in prison.
On a case by case.
But if
yes, of course they were. Of course they were. Google it, Clay. Of course they were. People that attack police go to prison.
They prosecuted thousands of people. Hold on. If there are,
here's the thing though, like the BLM rioters who attacked police people were bonded out.
Yeah.
Bonded out and lawyers paid for.
Lawyers paid for. They were celebrated in the media by entertainers, political pundits. They were almost exalted, like they were some type of hero for that whole summer.
Bro, but some of them championed by their own governors of their state.
Exactly. Tim Walz said that they were beautiful displays of right to protest and assembly.
I mean, Kamala
as
Harris,
his city burnt down, as his city and state burnt down.
What Kamala Harris? I think she said, well, she said something wilder, but Kamala Harris also championed it as well.
And that was the two presidential candidates we had running for the Democratic Party. They celebrated that shit.
Or I'll follow up.